I got loyalty, got loyalty inside my DNA. I got loyalty, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I was born like this, is born like this. Immaculate conception, I transform like this, perform like this. Without you, a new weapon. I don't contemplate, I meditate, then overcome. This that pull against the bed. This that I got loyalty inside my DNA.
A new season dawns and the roar of the S5000s come to life. Welcome, wherever you're watching, to round 1 of the ISR AIC Season 6. We're back at Queensland Raceway, a circuit steeped in ISR history, and for the first time since Season 1, we return to the place where it all began. Who could forget Nut Martinson's late charge to victory here, snatching the championship lead in the series' maiden year. Fast forward to today, Douglas Anderson begins his title defence with the number 1 on the nose of his ART machine, while challengers new and old line up behind him hungry for the crown. Fresh faces like Jack Tolchard have already made headlines, while seasoned names like Kevin Jacobs and Josh Martin are out to reclaim former glories. And let's not forget the drama of last season's opening round, where Colin McAllister triumphed in Sydney and heartbreak struck for Byrne and Underhill in those final laps. Strap in, the circus begins again, and alongside me for the first round is none other than Craig Evans.
Hey there, Toby, how's it going? Glad to be here again for this season. Another season of ISR AIC, and it's just going to be as exciting as it has ever been. Today, as you say, we're here at the Australian Grand Prix at Queensland Raceway, located in Ipswich, Queensland. Not been here since Season 1, where Nut Martinson took the win in that one, so it's going to be exciting to see how the drivers get on today at the circuit. This circuit is a 1.9 mile circuit, nicknamed appropriately the Paperclip due to its unique shape. It runs clockwise and has 4 configurations, and today's one we're using is the national layout with just 6 corners for the drivers to fight around. Despite the small number of corners though, they're laid out ideally for drivers to get a switchback for the straights following, and this is a favourable tactic in the Supercar Championship. So let's see how they get on today.
Excellent, this is the place we do battle then, and whatever happens, this is how your grid lines on. Jonathan Carrera lining up P22 and last. This is a disastrous start following last season. Debutant Zach Sweder will line up P20 alongside Christopher Petson, disappointment with him. Kevin Jacobs returns to his championship winning team, Nemesis Racing Team, but can only manage P18 alongside Eka. Christian Brazilov making his ART debut lines up alongside Andrew Pavia in 16 and 14. Gareth Lennon, rebranding Iron Brew, host for New Fortunes, lines up alongside the champion, only qualifying P13. Then it's Marcus Townend and Joshua Wood in 12 and 11 respectively. Toby Byrne then qualifies in the top 10 alongside Olav Obven, both men who were involved in the championship last season. Josh Martin lines up P8 alongside Callum Spencer, a better start to his fortunes this season. Craig McDonald will line up P6, very consistent. Ed Cantwell managed to show flashes of brilliance last season, will be in the top 5. Craig Evans P4 alongside Tom McDonald, who went all the way to the end of the championship last season. And then it's Philip Blum, and taking pole on debut is Jack Tolchard for Simstaff. Now that man could not get a better start to his ISR AIC career if he tried, and that is the man we're talking about, already making headlines, but he has a lot of veterans to deal with, and he will have never, Craig, gone against the pressures of leading an ISR AIC Grand Prix as of yet, so we'll see how he handles this pressure today. Jack Tolchard on the left, Philip Blum on the right, and then it's his seasoned veterans of Avanzo, Evans behind, and Tom McDonald, who will get the start though today. And it's gone. It looks like a pretty even start, but it looks like Philip Blum might actually be streaking into the lead a little bit. He has the outside line and does go into the lead momentarily as we thunder into turn number 1 with these incredible V8 sounds. And Jack Tolchard does have the inside line and retakes it back from Philip Blum. And Philip Blum looking like he's going a little bit wide in the background there. He already has Tom McDonald for company. That man started in P4, I believe, and he's already flying, and he's already going to be side by side for the race lead against Jack Tolchard. This is incredible stuff from Tom McDonald, looking to challenge into the first set of corners already. Could this be the dream start for the man who was 5 seconds away with that penalty from the Season 5 Championship? And he's done it, Craig. Tom McDonald goes into the lead.
What an incredible start. If you ask me at the start of the race who do you think is going to be leading at the end of lap 1, McDonald was not on my list. That is a fantastic start. Tolchard is still there though, still pressuring, as we can see Craig Evans dropping back here as Philip Blum makes a position back to get into the top 4, and there's an off. Evans is off. I didn't quite see what happened there, if he got hit or was it just a loss of control himself. But he's off the circuit and tumbling down the order, coming back on second but last, we do have a car at the back. It's Carrero, I think, is behind him, so he's had an incident somewhere as well. And pretty drama-free despite that, Toby, on lap 1.
All things considered, Reinhard Ecker, debutant, going very far to the inside. Here's your AI percentage chance of taking victory to here. Coming into this round, Tolchard with that pole position took a stunning 31% chance, but McDonald with that lightning start has completely turned them statistics on his head and now comfortably leads by half a second to Jack Tolchard as we come into the second lap, into the second attempt of this corner, which is fantastic opportunities for crisscrossing, as Craig mentioned in the track preview, seen all the time in V8 Supercars as we're watching Colin McAllister, and contact in the background. Christopher Pettersson is tapped up the rear there and goes into the gravel. I don't know who that was. I think it was the other CGM of potentially Gareth Lennon, and Pettersson being asked on the radio, can he continue? The answer is going to be a resounding no. That man looks stuck in the gravel, and we have our first retirement of season 6, and it comes on lap 2.
Yeah, that was really unfortunate there for Pettersson. It'll be interesting to see if we can get a replay of that to see what happened. A replay as well of Carrero and Evans at the start to see what's happened to them. As we're on board with another debutant here, Reinhard Ecker. He is following behind Andrew Previer. He had a good season last time around, a couple of good performances. I'm pretty sure he had a win as well on the cards. But they're fighting over 30th place at the moment. Not what they'd be hoping for, but it's lovely to hear these cars, man. What a sound we've got coming from these engines. And this track just bodes well to it as well. You can absolutely get the hammer down here.
It is a wonderful soundtrack for the ISR AIC debut in season number 6, and we do have our first investigation of the race, and assuming leaders will be Gareth Lennon and Christopher Pettersson for that contact we just saw. Now, important to remember that there is no DRS, and look at how close Colin McAllister, hustling the back of that Team Disconnect car, is in the background. We can see Gareth Lennon coming under a little bit of pressure in the background as well from Christian Vrazilov, the man making his move to ART for this season, formerly racing for Simstaff. Now is the man who replaced him started on pole today, so Christian Vrazilov will be eager to show ART that it was the right decision to go with him, and does not make an impression on Gareth Lennon so far. But he looks, there's that switchback we was just talking about, and he does get the better exit. He's going to be running side by side with Gareth Lennon into the final corner, looking to go all the way around the outside. Gareth Lennon pushes him wide to the apex, and watch out for Kevin Jacobs there, because he's going to get the switchback and he's going to fly past Christian Vrazilov. Is he going to get Lennon as well? And I don't think he quite has the drive to get Lennon, but that's the power of that switchback, Craig. You just need to be in the right place at the right time, and if two people are fighting above you, then there's a chance to sneak underneath them.
Oh, you definitely do. You've got to have your wits about you here. You just saw how quickly attack turned into defence there, and Vrazilov losing a position rather than gaining one. But that was lovely timing by Kevin Jacobs here as we have our first replay of the race. This is the start here. We're looking at Tom McDonald lining up on the second row in third place. It didn't look like he got the best of launches, but it just seemed to come into his favour as the first couple of corners came to fruition here. As you can see, Philip Bloom, he got the greatest start though. He had a fantastic launch off the line, initially taking the lead, but he just wasn't able to hold it around the outside. I don't know if there's just a lack of grip there, Toby, but yeah, Bloom has lost positions rather than gaining them, despite actually being first into turn 1.
Yeah, washed out to the outside and just deals with the understeer. And we can see, look at Ed Cantwell there on the left as well, really making a drive. And I'm not sure where Philip Bloom is at the moment, but this is the start that we want to see. This start was electric from Tom McDonald, and it was nothing special off the line. He didn't exactly jump start or anything. He just waited for his moment. And as you can see, Philip Bloom washed outside there by Jack Tolchard, and again in the second corner because Tom McDonald's on the inside, and the drive he gets because Jack Tolchard went a little bit wide, a little bit of inexperience there, really. I think as he tried to push Philip Bloom, who wasn't even there, he was trying to push out thin air, left him compromised into this next corner. And Tom McDonald, like we said, he was 5 seconds away, Craig, from winning the championship in ISR AIC Season 5. So this man knows how to win races, and you do not want to give a man like that chances like that. As we watch, Craig Evans will finally understand what happened to this man on the first lap, and he was battling with Blum, so Blum goes back through, and he just a little tab, drives into the back of Blum, upsets the balance of the car, Craig, and he's off. And do you know what? That is very similar. I believe Craig had a very similar incident like this in Grand Valley Speedway, if you remember, last season, where he just tapped the rear of a car who checked up on him and he spun himself out.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate incident there, and these cars, they seem to be washing out quite a bit at the front. You can see it from Modern's point of view there. Yeah, look at that, just coming together there. He was lucky not to get collected, as was the car in front. But yeah, these cars don't have a lot of grip. You've got very, very small front tyres compared to the big grippy rear tyres. So we're seeing a lot of them sliding out through the mid-corner, and that's something that we have to watch out for and pay attention to, and that's what the cars behind have to look for as well. As we're on board now with Gareth Lennon, we're going to see the incident he had. following down nicely in the slipstream on the brakes, nothing doing here, and he just kind of had a little nose up the inside. It wasn't really on. I think he was maybe trying to defend from the car behind, just a late move and a little lack of concentration maybe, I'm not too sure, but yeah, it's unlucky for Peterson there, and Lennon, he'll definitely be getting a penalty for that one, I think, once the stewards have had their look at it.
100%. So we are watching Reinhard Egger, one of your free debutants, or free potential debutants, as Zag's word, is technically returning to the series. He's not officially debut, but definitely the man in second place having the better debut so far. So your first penalty is coming through for this race, and it is a 5-place grid penalty to car 93 Lennon. As you mentioned, we expected that. It was a bit of a silly move, wasn't really on, and the stewards agree, and a 5-place grid penalty is quite light, really, if you consider he ended Christopher Pettersson's race, but nevertheless we know what Lennon has had in terms of fortunes this racing, and he's been fed that back, and I'm going to imagine Greg is not going to be very happy about it, and the response is as sarcastic as you can imagine. So Gareth Lennon not happy with that penalty, albeit probably a little bit light given the incident. As we head into lap number 6, McDonald leads comfortably from Jack Tolchard, who's got a 7/10 buffer and then a 1.2 second buffer to Ed Cantwell. So we can see Ed Cantwell, Craig, is the first driver on the hard compound of tyre, so he's one to watch out for. We saw so many times the crossover between the hard and the medium tyre can be astronomical. Now this is a very stop-start circuit, as you can imagine. All these switchback opportunities are great, but it means getting on the traction very early, trying to get that switchback, and the rear tyres will scream for life, and the front, we've already seen how much washing out is going on the understeer of these cars, so tyre wear could be a concern, especially when you're watching the difference between the hard compound and the medium compound. As we can see, Byrne is hustling Townend, and that is that difference once again of hard versus medium compound. So could we see a switchover soon as we ride on board with last season's champion, Craig? A P9 start, I believe it was. He's dropped down to P10 momentarily. It's not what he would have wanted.
No, not at all, but he's still in the race. He's at the end of the train, which is basically going all the way up to the front, so all it takes is a couple of moves and shakes in front of him, and Anders can be right in the fight for it. As you can see now, the other McDonald brother here, Craig McDonald, in 7th place, chasing down Callum Spencer, looking for that top 6. But yeah, you were talking about the hard and medium tyres there. The hard tyre, I don't think is going to be as disadvantaged as it seems, because if you look on the standings, Carrero down in 20th on the hard tyre has the fastest lap of the race at the moment. So don't know if that was just clean air or what, but yeah, the hard tyre is looking just as competitive at the moment. As you can see, McDonald is now hustling Callum Spencer just ahead of him. Different tyres, but you would never know just looking at it on the face of things.
Absolutely, so these guys just buy their time, because of course the longer you're on this hard compound tyre, the better things are going to get for you as the medium deteriorates around you. So they may have offered a bit of better traction on the first couple of laps, but it looks like that is starting to fall back into the clutches of the hard compound tyre, which is a lesson we learned so many times last season. So it'll be very interesting to see how this goes as we watch Craig McDonald, like you say, hustling Callum Spencer ahead as we have our first few cars into pit lane then, and one of them is Ed Cantwell. He's opting to get off the hard compound of tyres on lap 8. Very interesting strategy here from Team Disconnect, but maybe he thinks this is a window where I can really maximise the life out of a medium compound tyre. Does he think a medium compound tyre will easily go 10 laps, or does he want to just try go for an undercut with a second set of hards? And no, it is another set of mediums for Ed Cantwell, our first attempted undercut of the race, and he's got to go 10 laps, Craig, on a medium set.
You know what, you might be able to do it as well. It's clean air seems to be the way forward here. Like I said, Carrero got the fastest lap and he was in clean air. There's a lot of following here, and as you can see, McDonald again looking at the back of Spencer. Maybe these medium tyres aren't holding up as well as we thought, and Spencer's maybe going to be the ones that's going to have to put next and give McDonald some free air. But we'll see what Cantwell can do with nobody in front of him. See how he can push. See what kind of lap times he can put in, and if anyone else pits at the front, McDonald, Odvin, Jack in 2nd place. We'll just see where they come out into the space of things, because it's looking like track position might be key here. Oh, who's that behind him? Martin, almost in the back of McDonald's. Martin peels off into the pits and Spencer keeps going. This is an interesting strategy for Callum Spencer, Toby.
We said free air is very important here, but I'm not sure an overcut is the right decision. We'll see what Spencer is able to pull off. He's holding that position, and maybe thinks track position is quite important for that free air. Now here we will see our first undercut to Ed Cantwell. He was relatively 3rd place, so he'll be looking to pass Tolchard and McDonald if he can, and that is Olav Odvin. So Olav Odvin was the car behind. He's safely secured and actually built himself quite a decent gap to Olav Odvin behind. So looking like the undercut is relatively powerful here, but McDonald and Tolchard, oh, Olav Odvin getting all out of shape into turn number 2 on them cold tyres. I think just getting on the power a little bit early in the rear, not quite being warm enough. We'll have to watch out for that, and if we have to wait a lap for these tyres to warm up to spec, Craig, then that could dramatically increment the undercut strategy. If these guys have to go quite slow while the tyres come up to warm, because of course no tyre blankets, then that could minimise the damage done by an undercut. As we ride on Mobile Callum Spencer, is this man going to pit? Lap number 9, and he is not. He's staying out for another lap, so Craig McDonald will really have a good opportunity this lap, Craig.
I definitely should do. If he's not passed him yet, this is the time to do it now. It's mainly because he's holding him up. I'm pretty sure if McDonald got clear of Spencer, he'd be creating a little gap. The other thing to consider here as well is the undercut definitely seems to be the way forward. Odvin is 2 seconds ahead of... Cantwell is 2 seconds ahead of Odvin, and they were not that far apart when they came into the pits originally, as we have a few more movers and shakers in the pit lane further down the order. But McDonald on the back of Spencer now up to turn 3. He's going up the inside, looking for the move. Will he make it stick, or will he wash out into each other? Oh, very tight. Spencer gave him the room. Very wise decision there. And McDonald pretty much made that look easy, to be fair. Spencer now has to watch out. He's got Wood right behind him, also on the hard tyres. So yeah, Spencer, unless he's going to try and gain some time at the end of the race by having the freshest set of tyres, it's looking like the wrong call so far, as we see if Josh Wood is going to maybe try and make a move. Now this is another one of the long straights, not quite as long as the second straight into turn 3. Coming into turn 6 now, the final final turn on the circuit. Let's see what's happening pit-wise at the moment. And there, yeah, Spencer's peeled off. He's done those medium tyres as much as they can, and we'll see where that drops him down the order. I'm not so confident that was the right strategy to do.
It seems almost as if he was mirroring the race leader strategy as Tolchard comes in this lap as well, so quite a late one for Jack Tolchard. It'll be interesting to see where Ed Cantwell is relative to these gentlemen, because I'm unsure if McDonald has pit yet. I think McDonald is still, that'll be Craig McDonald, sorry. So where is Ed Cantwell? He looks like he's behind, so it looks like Jack Tolchard has survived the undercut attempt. No, sorry, Jack Tolchard hasn't. Tom McDonald has though, so Ed Cantwell has moved up a position in his undercut. Great effort from him with the car off in front. It's Philip Blum. The man started P2. Oh, that's incredibly close. Philip Blum started P2, and he's off in the gravel. Rejoins the track, very nearly taking out Josh Martin, and now Douglas Anderson doesn't need a second invitation. The man won last season. He thrived off opportunities like this. So down the inside goes Douglas Anderson to take that position away from a Philip Blum who will be struggling with tyres covered in sand and gravel following that mistake. And Marcus Townend, we talked about the switchback, just follows Douglas Anderson through, and he's through, and in the space of 2 corners, Blum loses 2 positions and goes from starting P2 to driving around in P12.
Yeah, it's an absolute shame there for Philip Blum, but everyone else has taken advantage of his lack of confidence there, coming back on the track, and just, if there wasn't grip before, there certainly is no grip now. But he's got to kind of compose himself. He's got Byrne behind him. There's no time to rest here. He has to do what he can. As we look at now, Andrew Previer making a move on Colin McAllister up the inside. Oh, a little lock up there, but McAllister's given him the room, and yeah, Previer has gone through up the inside of McAllister to take 14th place. Just to note, Cantwell has set the fastest lap of the race just the last time around, so he is absolutely flying on that fresh set of tyres, as we've got Razilov now coming out of the pit, slotting into 17th place. We've got a replay coming up here. Toby, this is Philip Blum. Ooh, close to the car coming out the pit. That might have thrown him off, maybe. I wonder. No, he's got through turn 1 fine there, so I know what's happening here into turn 2. Just a little bit over eager, yeah. Bit too eager. Locked up on the brakes, came back on, almost took out Josh Martin in the process. That is a change of underwear right there, and Bloom was lucky to have to get away with that and not have anything more major, as we can see it from Josh Martin's point of view. I'm not too sure we want to see this, Toby. It'll be a bit of a jump scare. Oh my.
Wow. Yeah, very, very close. And we can see that left Philip Blum incredibly compromised as we see Douglas Anderson taking out. And this is a demonstration of how to switch back. You just get to that inside line, you go to the racing line while Philip Blum's been washed out all the way outside, and there you go, easy as you like, making it look easy from Marcus Townend. This man also won a race victory in season number 5, so again, a man with a good amount of experience in that kind of warfare. Now, we can see the race is settling down as the strategy is pretty much complete, and it's an all-out sprint to the final end, and we have an under investigation, assuming this will be for, is it Philip Blum, and almost crashing into Martin. It is an unsafe rejoin, but to me, I'm not sure if it was intentional. It might have just been he was a passenger at that point. He went into that corner with a lot of speed, unable to scrub a lot off before the gravel spit him back out, so it'll be interesting to see what the decision is on that. But Tom McDonald comfortably leading by 2.3 seconds ahead of Cantwell, who went for the undercut, by the way, so incredibly confident stuff from Tom McDonald, really looking settled in that Macca Motorsport, and after coming so close in Season 5, this is exactly what he needs to have another go at it in Season 6. And the Maccas look fast, Craig. We have one in P1 and the other in P5 making some great moves like we saw on Callum Spencer. As we can see, Zach Swader going a little bit wide. That leaves him a little bit compromised to his teammate Craig Evans, and the two NLRs are driving side by side down the Dick Johnson straight, and for P19 and 20 is not what these teams would have wanted to be battling for these positions of, but nevertheless it's about pride, it's about experience versus newcomer. Evans goes up the inside of Zach Swader, and Carrera's going to follow him through. He pushes Swader very wide, and he actually looks like he's got the drive on Craig Evans. Could Jonathan Carrera get a 2-for-1 special down the back straight? It looks like Evans has just got the better drive. He'll have to launch up the inside if he wants to pull this one off, and Zach Swader's trying to come back around the outside. It's not happening. It looks like he's forced off the apex, by Jonathan Carrera, and he gets 2-for-1, and the NLRs were that busy scrapping with each other, Craig, that Carrera, the man who took multiple race wins last season, takes it away from both NLRs.
Yeah, definitely. Between these three drivers, there's a lot to prove. Carrera wanting to prove he's still got the pace from last season. Evans wanting to prove he's got the pace that he's got in qualifying, transferring into the race, and Swader wanting to prove that he's worth his metal as well, coming back into the series. But 19, 20 and 21 is not the position they thought they'd be doing that battling for. So yeah, there's not much to fight for in here. It's just a bit of fun now for these guys, and hopefully the next two races they can get things together, get the car set up a little bit sorted, and prove the pace that the McDonalds have, because as you say, they're absolutely flying. Tom McDonald is settled into this very, very nicely this season. They came on a lot from last year, started slow, and then just absolutely turned things up to 11 and ended on a massive high. As we can see, McDonald now, Craig McDonald that is, following Olav Odvin for 4th place. And I think, you know what, he's got a little bit of pace about him as well. If he gets Olav in 4th, he could be pushing on for a podium and getting the first double podium for any team this season. That, I think, is going to be the target that Craig McDonald is searching for. He's just going to keep piling on the pressure. Mistakes have happened so far this race, we've seen that. There's as many places to overtake as there is to follow, and it's just about picking the right lines, getting the right exit, and making someone defend, getting that switch back like you said, trying to cut underneath them and getting a great run out of the corner. It's worked so many times so far, and there's still time in this race for it to work again.
Yep, so looking at our previous race winners for Australia, we have two of those drivers still on this grid, Jacobs and McAllister. Those guys are not in the conversation for the win today, but McAllister, oh wow, a little bit of a lock up there for Olav Odvin. He made a very similar mistake to what Philip did and almost went clean off the circuit as well. So that corner, surprisingly, is catching a lot of drivers out, and you wouldn't think so. It looks relatively, there's a driver getting caught out, Reinhard Ecker. Oh, Tokyo Drift doesn't quite go as deep as Philip Blum, but that surely leaves him compromised to Jonathan Carrera. We've seen this man under the opportunity before with the NLR cars. Here's another one for you, down the inside, Jonathan Carrera, another free position, and this is a shame to see, isn't it, Craig, because it's very evident that the racecraft is still there for Carrera. It's just an absolutely horrible qualifying, saw him without a chance before it began, but we'll get this man near the front again, and I think he could be making some great moves, as we'll have an in-race replay of what happened with Ecker there, and I believe pretty much the same. It's actually side by side, I think, with this man, Gareth Lennon, making the move on Ecker there, and it forced him out wide. Maybe he got a little bit of dirt on the marbles from being on the outside line as he comes into the next corner, and the same thing, just taking too much speed. He goes to tap the brakes and they both lock up, and he's able to hold on to it, but at the loss of a position. And one thing I wanted to point out is, despite McDonald looking very comfortable in P1, Ed Cantwell is now within a second. So this man has taken almost 1.8 seconds out of McDonald's lead. Now, is that McDonald managing and not wanting a dramatic end to this race and just taking it easy, or is this Ed Cantwell really looking dialed in this team disconnect? So we have a big lock-up in front of us. I think Josh Martin making a big lock-up under no pressure at all. No, not Josh Martin, sorry, Jack Tolchard making a big lock-up under no pressure whatsoever. His teammate is the one putting on the pressure. Josh Martin chasing down Callum Spencer.
Yeah, that was some stuff. Car looks like it's coming into its own here at the end of this race, despite the lockups. Hey, you said it was Martin locking up early, and he's locking up now. Both of them are really, really pushing hard here. I think Tolchard in third is sniffing something if Cantwell can get onto McDonald, and Martin is sniffing something too in the back of Callum Spencer here. He's looking ahead, thinking of the moves that McDonald might make an Odvin. We're just trying to see, force somebody else in a mistake. That's what's the key has been so far. We saw that with Ecker running a little bit wide, getting on the dirty marbles and locking up into turn 2. So it's just as much making a driver in front of you have a mistake, have a little lack of faith in the car, a little lack of confidence and pouncing on it, as it is making the move yourself. As we can see, Josh Martin still piling the pressure onto Callum Spencer here into turn 2, the corner where everyone's made mistakes so far, but they're through it nice and clean. And Catmull's taking another 10th or 2 out of McDonald's lead, as the other McDonald is taking as much as he can out of Odvin, but he's just not able to make that move. He's not poked his nose yet. They've both made similar mistakes, letting the front wash out. Neither of them are actually getting a good line, as Martin loses the front there, and that's let Wood come up the inside. We were watching one car, and just behind us, Wood's now making the move after Josh Martin was the one looking like he had the pace. But let's see what Josh Wood can do on Callum Spencer, or is he going to come under pressure again from Josh Martin, who's hoping maybe to retake that position.
Circuit, we mentioned, very much designed on the switchback philosophy, and it is proving dividends today. Toby Byrne chasing down Philip Blum, who's had a disastrous race from P2, starting on the front row, and he might not even get points today, Craig, so absolute disaster for Blum, and that was the story of his Season 5. The man just had no luck whatsoever, so he'll be bitterly disappointed with this, but we'll see if he can hold off Byrne for a little bit of confidence reinstated, if he can hold off the final race winner of Season number 5. I'm sure that will help his confidence a little bit. It's Gareth Lennon looking to get some bragging rights over his teammate McAllister. We can see Craig McDonald again super close to Olav Odvin, but it just looks like Olav is getting a better drive out of turn 2, and Craig is not able to close the distance close enough. And it's interesting because that's roughly the distance he absolutely sent it on Callum Spencer before. Looks like Wood's going a little bit wide. Is this the opportunity Martin's been looking for? He can't get the drive though, and he does not make the move on Josh Wood. But just to quickly go back to that point, McDonald made that move on Spencer from that distance, and he was unable to do so, maybe because of the last lap and he didn't want to risk anything, but the last lap comes at a better time than any for Tom McDonald, because Cantwell brings the gap down to 7/10 of a second. Cantwell looks incredibly fast, but he's going to run out of laps. It's Tom McDonald riding the final corner down the Dick Johnson straight to take the first victory of season number 6. He will be ecstatic with that. What a performance from P4 to P1 on the start, and rightfully takes driver of the day. Tom McDonald wins from Ed Cantwell, who looked incredibly fast. Let's not forget that. Ed Cantwell looked turned on, and it'll be interesting to see how this championship battle develops. But it is first bragging rights to Tom McDonald, who lines up in P number 1, rightfully celebrating that podium, Craig. What a performance.
That was a great performance from Tom McDonald. Right from the first lap, he put his stamp on this race, and he didn't give anyone else an absolute look in, so he'll be absolutely chuffed with that. Ed Cantwell as well, fantastic result to get second place there, good race from him. And even Jack Tolchard, he may have started in pole, but he can be absolutely proud to get a third place on his debut.
So Tom McDonald takes the first win of season number 6 ahead of Ed Cantwell and Jack Tolchard. Now, Jack Tolchard did lose the race from pole position, admittedly, but on debut, a podium, it's a pretty good ratio. Olav Odvin, Mr. Consistency, finishes P4. That was the story of his season 5. That'll be a weapon this season. And Maka showing that the other Maka looking very fast, coming in P5 as well. Callum Spencer gets P6. He'll be very happy with points on his debut, despite it could have been more. Josh Wood finishes in P7, and Josh Martin finishes P8 with the fastest lap. Now, looking outside of the top 10, Toby Byrne finishes P12 ahead of Andrew Pavia. Colin McAllister and Gareth Lennon will be disappointed not to score points on their debut, and Christian Braslov has a disappointing start for ART DHL. Kevin Jacobs returns to Nemesis Racing Team, but nothing doing ahead of Jonathan Carrera, who said has the racecraft, just not the pace. And the NLRs, what a story of what could have been again for Craig Evans having that first lap incident, but despite that, he came back to beat his teammate despite having that big gap from that incident at the start. So the pace was definitely there from Craig Evans. He was the faster NLR today, just unfortunate. Championship standings will mirror, of course, your top 10 race results, and Tom McDonald starts the season off in the lead. Will we see a battle between him and Ed Cantwell going further into the season? And will we see someone like Olav Odvin take their first race win this season? This sets it up for a fantastic start. The championship leader from last season only has 2 points, Craig. This could go anywhere.
It really could, and as we can see with the race today, there's a lot for these drivers to learn with these new machines, so it'll be interesting to see how the next few races pan out. But as things stand in the team standing, Macca Motorsport take a nice 15-point lead ahead of Simstaff, so they're starting their authority on this championship already, with Team Disconnect in third, 18 points. But we'll get back to NAR Nissan in fourth, GSR in 5th, GR1 in 6th place, and then the final 2 point scorers 7th and 8th, rounding out the positions there. But we'll see how it goes. It's all about the team's championship as well. But the Macca Motorsport boys had a fantastic season last time out, working together, getting as many points on the board, and that's going to be key for them this season. And as I said, everyone's got a lot to learn with this car, and we'll see how it goes. It's going to be interesting with how the front of the car washes out on some of these other maybe tighter, twistier circuits as well. So there's a lot to get in the season, and I'm excited to see how it unfolds.
100%, we've got some fantastic circuits coming up. We will travel to the likes of Spa and everything this season, so these cars have got a lot to put themselves through. Queensland Raceway, probably the shortest track on the calendar, so they will be very happy to get past that one. It was quite a rapid fire, wasn't it? It was constant push. There was no time to tyre manage or anything, and Ed Cantwell really looked like he found his element, but just found it a bit too late to challenge for the race lead. So I cannot wait to see. The next time out, we travel to New Zealand for the first time in the series history for Manfield Circuit Chris Amon, a track which is much longer than Queensland Raceway, but with some characteristics that will feel a bit familiar. But it's been a fantastic round one. Thank you so much, Craig, for joining me. I'm very much looking forward to commentating with you again next time. I believe next time we'll see you is Lauschwitz Ring, a circuit with a much different characteristic. But today's been a good day.